Welcome everybody, we are back together again. English Addict is with you once more, and it's ever so nice to be with you once again. I hope you are feeling good today. We are back live. It is true, very, very live at the moment. Hi everybody. Okay, that's good. You see, I wasn't going to do that because I was told that I shouldn't say Happy New Year. But I did anyway because I'm a very, very naughty man. Once again, hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope you are feeling good. Don't forget to send me a like. And yes, it is the final time that I can say Happy New Year. So I thought I would start by saying Happy New Year. 2024 has arrived. How was your first 10 days of the new year? Has it been a good one so far, or has it been a load of rubbish? For those wondering, Mr. Steve is not with us today. In fact, he is not even here in the building. He sadly has gone to a funeral today. One of his work colleagues sadly passed away about 2 weeks ago. So sadly, Mr. Steve has gone to a funeral. He is on his way back. Of course, we always keep in touch with each other. Whenever Steve and myself are apart, we always make sure that we stay in touch. It is one of the most wonderful things about living in this modern age. Have you noticed how amazing everything is? And the only reason why we have all of these wonderful things is because of change. Things are always changing. Things are always moving forward. They are progressing. They are going in a certain direction. It is fair to say that we can only go forward. It is not good to start going back, because then maybe other problems will come along. That is what we are talking about today. By the way, we are talking about change, the change of things, progress, and of course, I suppose at the moment, one of the main reasons why I'm mentioning this today is because a lot of people are talking about artificial intelligence and the way the world is changing. And over the past few days, I've been reading some news stories about certain companies, certain organizations that have started using artificial intelligence more and more. In fact, it has got so bad or so frequently used that now they don't need human beings to work for them. So in certain cases, humans have become not obsolete, not quite. So when we say that something is obsolete, we normally mean that it is no longer required. So at the moment, we still need human beings, but in some cases, the requirement for lots and lots of people to do a certain thing has reduced. So you might say that over time, fewer humans are required to do a certain task. But there is one thing that will not change as far as I am concerned. Don't forget, I am not AI. I'm not a machine, because there's no substitute for a real human being. So I am with you. I don't think in the near future there is any chance of me being replaced by a machine. So don't worry. Maybe in the future we will be able to have me embedded in a machine, so it will still be me. Sadly, this lovely body will no longer be around, but perhaps, maybe, part of me will live on in a machine. But for the time being, don't forget, I am not AI. I am not a machine. There is no substitute for a real human being. It's true. We have the live chat. Oh, hello, live chat. Nice to see you here. Thank you very much for joining me today. I am taking the risk once again. I am broadcasting in high definition. Full high definition today. Oh, Mr. Duncan. Fancy pants. Very nice. Who was first on today's live chat? Oh, very fast with your finger. You are definitely at the top of the list today. Beatrice. Congratulations to Beatrice. Guess what? You are first on today's live chat. It's nice to see you here. Can I just mention there are live captions. So you can have captions underneath this thing I'm doing at the moment. They are live, so don't forget there will be a slight delay, but you can activate the captions and have them underneath if you are having difficulty understanding what I'm saying. But why would you? Because my English is so clear. It is so precise. It is so relaxing to listen to. And those aren't my words. Those aren't my personal comments. They are the comments of you out there watching in the world of YouTube. Today we are looking at the future, things that might happen in the future. Some people are afraid of the future. Some people feel worried about what will happen in the future. I suppose when we look at events, we normally look at things that are happening now to try and work out what will happen in the future. So I suppose that is one of the reasons why people are getting so worried or concerned about artificial intelligence, because it is still relatively new. And I still think that many people don't quite understand how it works or what it means. However, I, over the past couple of months, have started using certain types of AI to design my thumbnails and also to design all of the things that appear at the bottom of the screen. So that is the reason why lots of things have changed slightly on my live stream, because I am using other types of technology to design those things, and it is very useful. However, because it is new, because all of these things have just come along over the past 12, maybe 18 months, people have been talking about AI. I suppose people are a little wary or cautious. Wary. I like that one. If you are wary of something, it means you are not sure. You don't want to go near that thing too quickly. Maybe you are slightly nervous about that particular thing. You are afraid. You are worried. You are wary. You are suspicious of that particular thing. Can I say hello to Vitas? Vitas, you were in second place today with your finger. Also we have Palmyra. We also have, oh, of course, he is here. It is so nice to see you here. Luis Mendez is here today. Thank you very much, Luis. Nice to see you back. Thank you for joining us on Wednesday. Twice a week, I am here with you, Wednesday and Sunday. from 2 p.m. UK time. Mossamat. Hello, Mossamat. Nice to see you here on the live chat as well. We also have Hlarwin. Hello, Hlarwin. Nice to see you here on the live stream. We are live every Wednesday and Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time. Asma Rizwan is here as well. Hello, Asma. Nice to see you back. Is it your first time or are you returning here? Have you decided to come back for more of this? You are very brave. That's all I can say. Christina is here. Thank you, Christina. Sadna is here. Hello, Sadna. Where are you watching at the moment? I wonder. Nong Jan Fen is here as well. We have some new viewers today. I have a feeling that we do have some new people joining in on the live chat, and it is always nice to see new faces here. Patrick. Hello, Patrick. How are things? Are you still on your travels? Because the last time you spoke, you were on your travels and you were travelling around. But what about today? Where are you today, Patrick? I suppose we could start a new feature here. Where in the world are you? So some people do like to travel around. I know we have people like Beatrice, and also I think Vitas likes to travel, and also Christina likes to travel around. So maybe we could start a new thing. If you are travelling to different places and you are watching my live stream whilst you are travelling, please let me know. That would be ever so nice. I am a returning viewer, says Asma. Thank you very much, Asma, and it's great to see you back. It is good to know that all of this has persuaded you to come back and join in again. So it's always nice. Angelic. Hello, Angelic. Now, I recognise your name. Angelic. Have you been here before? Have you watched me before? Because I think I used to have a viewer who used to join us on the live stream many years ago called Angelic. So are you the same one? Have you rediscovered me? A lot of people think I've finished. A lot of people think I've stopped doing this. Can you believe it? There are people who think I have quit. There are some people who think I'm dead, but I'm not. I'm here. So don't worry. Yes, I am still here doing this, which is always a nice thing when you think about it. I always like to have a smile on my face in the morning whenever I wake up. I like to smile at the world around me and feel ever so nice and glad that I get to see another day. Angelic says it is not my real name. I am Angelina. Angelina. But the question is, did you used to watch me in the past, or is it your first time? Please let me know. I'm very interested to find out. Christina says artificial intelligence can be useful in certain aspects, but it must not replace humans. And I would agree with that. There are many things that are being talked about at the moment. Many new things. Artificial intelligence is one. But also, I suppose we can't forget space travel as well. A lot of people talking about that. There was a mission to the moon, which I believe this week had some problems. I think they were sending a small probe to the moon, and I think things went wrong with that. Who else is here? I will say hello to a couple of more people because I don't want to forget you, you see. I can't because I will get into a lot of trouble. Oh, I think that might be everyone. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you to join in today. So we are talking about changes, things that can alter, things that might be different, things that sometimes change because of various reasons. Quite often, the reason is progress, and that is the subject we are talking about today. It is English Addict, and we are here live on... Yes, we are here on Wednesday, and I hope you are feeling good. I hope you are having a good Wednesday wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much to everyone who has said hello. Don't forget, you can chat live right now. If you want to say anything, imagine something you've always wanted to ask or something you've always wanted to say. Now you have the chance to do it right here, live on YouTube, in front of everyone. Today we are looking at words and phrases connected to change, from the things we do now to maybe things that might be done in the future. That is normally how things work. When we talk about history, when we look back in time, we can always see that things were different. So whatever it is we are talking about, we can see that those things were done in a different way. But why were they different? Well, the reason is simple, because over time, the way those things were done changed. And that is what we are talking about today. A lot of people worry about the future. We worry about what might happen in the future as things change. But really, to be honest, quite often there is no need to worry. And I might explain a little bit more about that today as we go on. So when we talk about change, we often talk about progress. Progress. When we talk about progress, we are talking about moving forward. So as you move, you might also change the way you do things. And this word can be used in more than one way, of course. We can progress as a verb. You are moving forward. And of course, progress or progress, because it can be pronounced in more than one way, can mean just advancing. Things are changing. Quite often things are being changed in some particular way. Maybe the way we do a certain task, maybe the way we carry out a simple everyday action. Progress is how we often describe it. We talk about progress, of course. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is positive. Quite often we might say that progress could be negative. But generally speaking, we do use this particular phrase positively. You progress, you move forward. We always like to think, as human beings, we always like to think that we are moving forward. Quite often we like to think that we are improving in some way. So I don't think it is unfair to say that progress is quite often a positive thing. Here's another interesting word. When we talk about progress or change, we talk about innovation. To innovate, to move forward with ideas. Or maybe you come up with something new. Maybe you come up with a new idea. So quite often innovation can refer to something new, such as an invention. Something you have invented is a new innovation. It is a new thing, the way of doing something. So not only is it maybe a device that has been invented or created or even modified, many things that we have used for years have changed in some way. In fact, I can't think of many things that haven't changed in some way over the centuries or even over the last 100 years. I suppose there is one thing. Toilet paper. When you think about it, toilet paper has hardly changed at all. It's still the same. The way we use it, the way it is sold, the way we store toilet paper. So really, it hasn't changed all that much when you think about it. But generally speaking, most things have in some way. Most things have changed, and quite often we will use innovation. We will invent new things. We will create things that can do other tasks or other things more efficiently or better in some way. How about evolution? Oh, Mr. Duncan, now there is an interesting word that can be used in quite a few ways and in many contexts as well. So when we talk about evolution, we are talking about the change of a particular thing. It will alter in some way, quite often over time. So evolution can refer to change, maybe the way we improve things, we make things work better, things become more reliable. Maybe one particular device or tool is able to do something better or something in a slightly more convenient way. We talk about evolution. We also talk about evolution in the sense of the animal kingdom as well. A lot of people think of evolution as positive change. Things improve. Not always. Some things might be pushed aside. Some things might fade away because of evolution. So the way in which we do things can change through evolution as we talk about changes that are made to certain things. So I suppose it is fair to say that change is gradual. Gradual. When we say that something is gradual, it means it is slow. It is happening slowly. So most change does happen gradually. It happens slowly. So imagine going up a hill. Imagine climbing a hill and you go up gradually. You slowly go up the hill. You climb the hill gradually. So many types of change can also be described as gradual. It happens over time. I suppose you've noticed, especially if you are the same age as me. If you are the same age as myself, you know how old I am. Don't ask. Don't you dare ask how old I am, because you know already. Don't try to embarrass me, please. But if you are of a certain age, like myself, you will have seen many changes. So I grew up in the 1970s. During the 1970s, things were quite different, especially when we talk about things like technology. We did have things like television, we did have radio, and I suppose towards the end of the 1970s, computers were becoming more common, and people were starting to discover how convenient the computer is. So that happened during the 1970s. However, it would also be fair to say that computers were around during the 1950s and also 1960s, doing various things. The only problem was the technology, or should I say the hardware, could not be made small. So you needed a very large computer to do very simple tasks. So I suppose that is one of the biggest changes that has taken place when we talk about technology. In the 1970s, I remember watching television. We only had 4 channels. In fact, in the 1970s, we only had 3 channels in the 1970s. Can you imagine that now? The only things you could watch, the only stations you had, 3 stations, 3 television stations. That's all that there were. Not like nowadays where you have hundreds. But of course, computers did become more widespread, their use did grow, and the personal computer came along. And the rest, as they say, is history. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about there, because it is the reason why I'm standing here doing this now. There are many changes that can take place over time. We can change our lifestyle. When we talk about lifestyle, we are talking about the things we do for recreation, the things we do generally in our day-to-day life. Maybe lifestyle can refer to the food you eat, the type of house you live in, the furniture that you have in your house, your lifestyle, maybe your personal lifestyle, maybe the person you share your life with, the person you live with, the person you choose to get married to. So there are many ways of expressing lifestyle. And I think it is fair to say over the past 50 or even 60 years, there have been many changes in lifestyle. I suppose one of the biggest ones must be the way families interact with each other. So in the past, families would be very close. But in Western society, these days, it is not unusual for families to be distant or apart in some way. Which, of course, brings us back to modern technology. Because when we talk about modern technology, well, we have computers, we have our mobile phones, we have lots of ways of keeping in touch. So nowadays, there isn't the need for us to be together all the time. It is possible to be distant and not have to worry about being far away from our loved ones. Like this morning, I was sending lots of messages to Mr. Steve, and then when Mr. Steve arrives at his destination, he always sends me a message to tell me that he's all right and that he's reached his destination safely. So I would say that lifestyle is certainly something that has changed dramatically over the years. Marriage, I suppose marriage is a good example of that, because many people these days choose not to get married. They choose to have a partner but not marry. So there are many ways in which lifestyle has changed. Change in communication, change in the way we actually converse, the way we interact with each other has changed a lot. And once again, this is because of technology. I remember way back in the 1980s, and I suppose also the early 1990s, I would often send letters, postcards to people, and I would receive them as well. I used to love receiving messages. I had friends overseas who would often write to me, and I used to feel very excited whenever I saw an envelope with airmail written on it. So it is quite exciting even now. In fact, I would say that these days it is more exciting than ever to receive a letter, an actual letter from another person. They have actually taken the time to sit and write a letter. I know it's unusual these days because not many people send letters to each other. I know it is rare. So the way we change our habits with communication. Some people, of course, say that it is a bad thing because we don't communicate with each other as much as we used to. We do seem more distant from each other than we did in the past. Of course, for some people, that is a good thing, especially if you are not very social. So instead, you can come on the internet and be social instead, which is a good idea. I suppose the way we live can also refer to our general health. We talk about health in day-to-day life. We talk about the way we live, the way we eat, the way in which we exercise. More and more people now are taking care of their health. Some people might be a little obsessed with it. Some people might think about it too much. In fact, I have my own theory about this. I think sometimes thinking too much about your health can make you ill because it causes stress. So maybe thinking too much about your health might not be a good thing after all. So change in the way we take care of our health. Of course, there are many innovations, many inventions, many things now that can help you to live longer, to enjoy better health for a longer period of time. Of course, we still can't live forever, unfortunately. They are still working on that. I was talking to someone the other night about a program that I saw on the news. In fact, it was a special news report about living forever, how to extend a person's life. And the conversation was really interesting, I have to say. So the conversation that I saw was discussing the effects of living forever. So what if certain groups of people could live, well, maybe not forever, but certainly for a longer period of time, and who would get the privilege of doing that? And I suppose the other thing is if people are living longer, then there will be more people on the planet. So I think it is an interesting subject, but I still think we are a very long way from extending the life of the individual person to more than maybe 80, 85, maybe even 90, perhaps 100, because there are many people now, they are reaching the age of 100. I know what you're going to say, Mr. Duncan. There are lots of people now who are 100 years old and older. Look at Dick Van Dyke. Dick Van Dyke, Mr. Duncan. Look at him. He's 98 and he's still going very strong. So yes, there are exceptions to the rule. I think it is safe to say there are definitely exceptions to all of these rules. Definitely. Change in education. Now this is something I'm taking very personally. Do you know why? Because it affects me in many ways. When we talk about the changes in education, well, I suppose once again I will go back in time to my childhood. In the past, we were not allowed to use electronic devices in our exams. We could not take electronic calculators into our exams. We were not allowed in any way to do that. We had to do it all up here in our brain. But these days, it's not the case. Many people are now allowed to take calculators to work out sums or very long calculations. Quite often, it is allowed. However, in other countries, you will find that the good old-fashioned way of working out things in the brain is still taught in many, many places. But I suppose the big question must be, what about the future of teaching? What are the changes that will take place over the next 20 or 30 or even 50 years? What will happen? Will teachers, humans in the classroom, disappear completely? We are already seeing changes taking place. Certain groups, certain organisations that are responsible for helping people learn certain subjects, including language, are now using artificial intelligence more and more as a tool to teach. However, the problem is a lot of it is still in its early stage. It hasn't been developed. It is not fully developed. So we still need human beings to make sure that the artificial intelligence is taking care of it. So that I think that is a very important point to remember. Nothing at the moment can replace the human brain or the human being, to be honest. So I think I'm okay. A lot of people ask, Mr. Duncan, are you scared? Maybe one day there will be artificial teachers on the internet teaching. There will be no human being at all. Well, I have to say, I think people will eventually want humans rather than a machine teaching them. So I think in the future you will find more and more people will want to actually have a real human being in front of them rather than an artificial, intelligent, generated person. And I know these days you can make anything look real. You can have an artificial human on the screen, a person who looks human and real, but they're just a program running in a machine. Also the voice as well. So maybe one day someone will take my voice and use it for themselves. So all of the hours that I've been here on YouTube, someone might steal the sound of my voice and take it for themselves. So I suppose I am a little bit afraid of that. That is the one thing that really does worry me. I will be honest with you. So I think it is fair to say that the future of teaching is quite safe for the time being, because a lot of people are still cautious. They are still nervous. They are wary of all of this new technology. So I think, at least for the rest of my life, I think I will be okay. I don't think anyone is going to replace me just yet. I hope not, anyway. I really hope not. Everyday actions are affected by change, even the simplest thing. One of the things that I use every day, and I love, is the microwave oven. The microwave. What a brilliant invention. And the microwave was first introduced in this country during the 1970s. They were quite expensive at that time. However, nowadays, people use microwave ovens all the time. Everywhere. Restaurants, cafes, even they use them. But at home, quite often when you want to eat something quickly, you might put it in the microwave. In fact, one thing that I do quite often, sometimes when Mr. Steve makes a cup of tea for me, I forget and I leave it and it goes cold. So what I do is I take it and I put it in a microwave for around about 1 minute or maybe 1.5 minutes. So it goes round and round and it heats up. The only problem with that sometimes you forget that the tea is in the microwave. You forget about the cup of tea that you put in the microwave. And so later you open the microwave door and inside there is a cold cup of tea. And you think, oh yes, of course, I was heating that tea up earlier and I forgot about it. So once again it is cold. So it is not unusual for me to reheat my tea maybe 2 or 3 times. Eventually I do drink it, but quite often I forget and I leave it in the microwave, sometimes all night. And the next day I find it stone cold in the microwave oven. So everyday actions are affected by change, things we do in our day-to-day life. Of course, there are certain things that we still need and cannot be changed. For example, we need to eat. We need to sleep. Sleep is still probably the most natural thing we do. And there is no way we can change that. Technology hasn't really changed anything in that respect. I suppose helping you to get to sleep, there are new innovations that have come along, maybe certain sounds or certain types of medicine is used these days to help you get to sleep. You might describe change as a shift. Shift. Shift means to move in a certain direction or from one place to another. So maybe you are going in that direction, but then you shift slightly and now you are going in a different direction. So there are many ways of moving. Sometimes you might move in the wrong direction. Some people say that change is bad, and it can be. I agree with you. There are many people now criticising social media, computers, smartphones, and all of the applications that are contained within them. It is true that many people do not like the way modern technology is going. However, we talk about the way in which we think, the way in which we view the world. You might also talk about science as well. We often talk about science when we are talking about the way we think of the world, the way we think of each other. The study of the world around us has revealed lots and lots of amazing things. So each time we discover something new about the world around us, or even the universe, our whole attitude will also change. It would be fair to say that change happens around every 10 years. So every 10 years that passes by, you might say that there are changes taking place. Something that started to change has reached its goal. That particular change is now everywhere. It might be just in a few places, but over 10 years you might suddenly find that it is everywhere. So I think it is fair to say that all of these innovations, all of these changes normally take around 10 years before they become common. I suppose a good example these days would be electric cars. So many years ago you would not see electric cars on the road. In fact, I remember during the 1980s there were many attempts at making and producing electric cars, and all of them failed because of the power that they could hold. The batteries, the means of storing the power was not very good. The live chat is very busy, by the way. Christina says, I worry more about young people who are completely hypnotized by social media. Well, when you think about it, we are now in 2024. So there are people who are maybe 16, 17 or around 20 years old, and they know nothing else but technology. So all of the technology that is around them, most of it has been around since they were born. Of course, it has changed in many ways. A lot of the different types of technology have changed, but the convenience has always been there in their lives. And this is the reason why nowadays, if you go to a restaurant or you go to a public place, quite often you will see very small children, sometimes toddlers, maybe 2 or 3 years old, and they're holding a tablet device in their hand. They've got it there in front of them and they're pressing the buttons on the screen. And maybe they're just a couple of years old, 3 or 4 perhaps. And there they are, playing on their tablet device. Isn't that incredible? So there are a lot of people around, and this will continue to happen as the old people like me fade away. There will be the new generations that will come along, and all of this will just be normal. It won't mean anything to them. So I think it is fair to say that change happens around every 10 years. As each new decade comes along, something over that time will change. It will alter in some way. So when we think about change, it can be a new way of doing something or even a new way of thinking. This is an important point to mention because a lot of people now criticize computers and especially the internet and social media. They say it has made people more stupid. It has made them less intelligent because now they don't have to remember things. You don't have to store the information in your brain. You can simply go on the internet and find it. So you don't necessarily learn by looking at something on the internet. Quite often we use the internet as a way of passing the time because maybe we have nothing to do. Maybe we are feeling a bit bored, so we look at the internet. So maybe it is true, maybe there is an element of truth in the internet making people I don't want to say stupid, but maybe it makes them less willing to learn things and keep them up here in their heads. Only time will tell. When we talk about change, we often talk about modernization. You modernize something, you make it new, you make it fresh. Maybe you improve on something. You update. Now there is a word we use quite a lot these days, update. To update means to have the latest version of something. So in its modern form, we often think of update when we refer to computers, devices, things that have to be updated so they are current and up to date. Hence the word update. In fact, just before I started today's live stream, I had to update my computer because there was a new version of the antivirus software. So I had to update my computer so it would work. Move forward. Of course, we always have to move forward. As I said at the start of today's live stream, moving forward is always the most natural way to go. There is no point going back. There is no point looking over your shoulder. There is no point taking steps back because the only way is forward. The future is always there, and it is there for the taking. Progress. We talk about progress. We talk about advance. To move forward is to advance. You move forward. You advance. You make changes. And there it was. Lots and lots of things to look at and watch again. You can watch this live stream as many times as you want. You can follow the captions. There will be permanent captions on the screen underneath later on. What about you? Are you worried about the future? Do you fear the future? Are you afraid of what might happen next? When we talk about the way things change around us, especially when we are talking about technology, are you afraid of the future? Let me know underneath in the comments. If you think you have something interesting to say, please share it with me. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Thank you very much for your company today. I am back with you. Don't forget, I am back with Mr. Steve on Sunday. Don't miss it. We have a lot of things to talk about. We are looking back at old TV shows that we used to watch many years ago. That is one of the things we are talking about. Of course, there will be other subjects as well. That is almost it from me for today. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. Whatever the future holds for you, whatever it may be, I hope it will be a good one, even if we are only talking about the period of time between now and the next time we meet. I hope the next few days will be good for you. Thank you very much for your company today. It's very nice to see you all here. And of course, don't forget, please give me a lovely like. Give me a like to show you care. And if you would like, please share my live stream with others as well, if you want. You don't have to, but it's nice if you can. Thank you very much for your company. See you very soon. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me live. It's so nice to see you all here, and it is very nice to see you on the live chat as well. Back on Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time is when I'm back with you. And of course, until the next time we meet right here on YouTube, Don't forget, I'm not going anywhere. There will be no machine taking over my job. I guarantee it. And of course, ta-ta for now. See you later. Take care. Bye.